This story is dedicated to all the different ones. In an era where cartoonish corporate villains have sprung to life across technology, healthcare, Wall Street, and beyond, this tale presents an ordinary man walking the halls of a fictional company run by such a tycoon and creating a little mischief along the way. The eponymous character is a lifestyle columnist, and this first volume involves his coverage of a corrupt pharmaceutical company. Follow him as he breaks bad, for good, after the outbreak of a new virus called the Sillies in The Goofy Traveler and the Silly Escapade. Episode 2.
2 suits, 5 hoodies, assorted button-down flannels, mostly in good shape, 7 ties, not in good shape, lots and lots of t-shirts from only God remembers where, and a pirate hat from a night I definitely remember, mostly, a few dozen pairs of socks that have seen better days, jeans, a few shirts from Pitchfork, jeans, old Blackhawks jerseys, jeans, a cowboy hat, and some overalls, all strikeouts.
Yeah, what to wear to this party?
Nothing in my closet or apartment really screamed Halloween, at least at the level befitting this occasion. I had to go out. I grabbed the corporate card boss man gave me, ordered an Uber, and got the heck out of my studio apartment. Halstead was brimming with people. They all seemed to be carrying around that energy before the spookiest day of the year. On the other hand, I was not looking forward to pretend hobnobbing and scavenging for information I could most likely glean from my laptop in a bar around the corner. Glasgows, noblemen, the Chicago Athletic Club, the Holiday Club. My mind wandered. The screeching halt of tires corralled my attention. I sprang into action, jumped in the car, and tried to suppress my lunch in my stomach. "Howdy, let's go!" I yelled as I locked eyes with the driver. He gave me a grin as he took off to the north side of town.
Where you headed?
He invited. Just to grab something for a party. Work sing. I exhaled as I gazed down Armitage Avenue. Children were going in and out of stores, trick-or-treating. Mothers and fathers with Starbucks and adopted dogs followed closely behind. It was like watching an Instagram story come to life. There was a homeless person on the bench behind them. They will probably airbrush that out later, I figured listlessly. I wondered if they even let their kids eat the candy, as I tried to scrape the mustard off my shoe. A poster on the bus in front of us read, "Get tested. Find out if you're silly today for only $100. Geez, that's it? The driver laughed as he pointed to the image. I chuckled and nodded in agreement. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous they charge for that much. I was trying to be agreeable. I think it's ridiculous they test for something like that. He continued as his head began to rotate and look at the families to our left. Just because they're acting differently. Don't see the point. Won't it help them fit in and succeed in society? I remarked, as my genuine curiosity in the subject began to grow. Sometimes people tell others to get help to make themselves feel better, he said as he brought his eyes back to the road. The families began to file into a restaurant single file like they were in school. Their designer dogs shielded them from the sleeping homeless man as they proceeded into the shop. I began to digest the driver's comment, but was interrupted by a breaking news report over the radio. GTN was reporting that a man, some guy named Max Dean, had broken out of a local mental health facility, Infinite Evergreen. The reporter was shouting his personal details in an urgent and demanding tone, height, weight, and other things. The bulletin did not suggest why he was in there, or what kind of treatment he was receiving. I cared little. I was enraged to waste personal time for work. I even had to give my Cubs tickets to a friend because of this excursion. The driver jolted me out of my mind again by exclaiming, "Do you think he'll go and hide in Broken Square? I suppose. That's where they tend to be gathering, just like that couple they found down there. Right?" he added in a sing-song manner. "We don't know what he has," I tried to remind him. My words seemed to crash and fall down him like rain on a windshield. He chirped back, "What they have defines them, starves them. I was down there a few days ago, passing out supplies, and I saw," but his soliloquy was not to be. We had arrived at my destination. I politely exited the increasingly awkward chit-chat with an abrupt and simple, "I don't know a lot, but thank you," and fell out onto the street like a paratrooper leaving a plane. If I was in the right spot, I did not know it. I was only here upon referral from Bossman. He got a costume for his dog here. From the outside, all I could see was two mannequins staring back at me. They were dressed for a psychedelic party of their own, and did not seem impressed by my arrival. Undeterred, I entered the building expecting just about anything. I was disappointed. I must have stood in the foyer for 10 minutes listening to music play over the radio without seeing or hearing anyone. Watching the clock tick on and itching to get home to veg out on the couch in front of a Cubs game with an anti-hero, I started investigating. Off in the corner of the entrance area, a nondescript door sat like an old dusty picture on a wall. I poked that open with a little trepidation and discovered a long, dark hallway. I proceeded through the gateway. The music from the foyer behind me filled this passageway like wind giving life to a sail. I glided effortlessly through the near-dark route until I came upon another door. I pushed this one open with not a little muscle and found a stockroom filled to the brim with costumes. Row after row of shelves were jam-packed with new and unopened festive attire for the ghoulish holiday. The room seemed suspended in time. For a moment, I did not move. Had anyone been here before? As a wave of goosebumps came over me, I sprang into action and started poking around shelves. I was finally starting to have some fun. As I looked at outfit after outfit, I started to imagine how I would enter the festivities. A cop? No. A TV character? Absolutely not. All of the trite and hackneyed ideas did not please me. I changed course to a new aisle, displeased and doubting my chances to salvage anything meaningful out of this peculiar adventure, when at once my eyes settled on a winner, Chewbacca. My convictions only swelled when I saw the price tag. $30. That was a fair amount less than Bossman had allotted. I loved when that happened. I was beginning to imagine all the things I could do with all the dollars, when a hand on my back replaced all my ecstasy with dread. I swung around to find a man staring back at me. Neither one of us had any blood in our face. While my blood rushed to come back, his took its time, and I wondered when he actually lost his. "Find everything okay, sir?" he questioned in a monotone voice. His eyes looked through me, rather than at me. "Yes," I murmured as I momentarily forgot the raison d'etre of my mission. Finding my courage in my voice, I added, "Just wanted to get something for a gala." "For the hacklers?" he asked, but not necessarily to me. His voice trailed off and my eyes went from this mouth to his hair, which snaked down the back of his neck and wrapped around and rested on his shoulder. He was wearing a coat that he must have stolen from a real buccaneer, and a smile he might have gotten from similar a breed. "Yes," I shouted. "Sorry. Yes, I just found out I was going and don't have much time. This will do though," pointing to my selection and adjusting my volume as a creeping sense of paranoia knocked on my mind's door. How did he know why I was here? "Listen, how did you?" I began to question as he interrupted very comfortably and still, in a driven, constant tone. "Most of the hackler guests shop here. We have been selling them costumes for many years. If you look across this aisle, you will see a lot of the options normally selected." He droned, as if he was speaking to a large group on a tour. All of the options were 3 to 4 times more expensive than mine. They were also a lot more basic as well. These costumes were merely just a black robe and mask, though each of the masks was intricate and unique. "This will do," I interrupted in almost a questioning manner. I took out the exact amount I needed and handed it to him. "Yes, it will," he said in a hush as he took the money. Yet, he did not put it in his pocket or take it back to the register. He just stared at it, confused. "Will you need anything else?" "No. This is great. I must be going," I replied, reassuring him or me. I do not know which it was, honestly. Sweat was beginning to bead on my forehead. I had not felt one whiff of air since I had entered. I put the costume over my shoulder and began backing up, without turning. He finally looked away from me. and gazed down the endless rows of untouched costumes. I took that opportunity and turned around a beeline out of there. I did not breathe again until I got outside and was safe in the middle of a wave of busy pedestrians. They were all anxiously walking by me on the sidewalk to get to the next point in their lives. I did not know where they were all going, and I had no idea where I had just come from. But I was happy to be going home.